Hey guys, welcome to Tiny House Customs. I'm Dan. In today's video, we're going to be insulating. As you probably know, I will be insulating with Roxol insulation. This stuff right here, Roxol Comfort Bat. Now this is 2x6 insulation. My ceiling is 2x6, so it'll be getting all that stuff right there. That is, can't see, R23, which is plenty good for a tiny house. And then I've got R15 for the walls for 2x4 insulation. This bag covers 59 square feet, 59.7, so 60 square feet, and that covers roughly 40 square feet. You can probably notice that I've already done this half of the house. You can see right about there and there maybe. I don't know if you can see that, but haven't insulated the rest of the house. Without having heating in this house, I can already see about a 15-degree temperature difference from outside to inside. I am wearing a lot of clothing right now because I just had the door open because I want it to be cold while I'm insulating so I can be completely covered. Now Roxol was kind enough to send me out insulation to do my entire house. Very thankful to Roxol for sending this stuff out. I have done one video about how great Roxol is. I will link that in the description below. I really like Roxol insulation just for the main fact that it is fire resistant. Jake and Keith over at the Tiny Nest did a installation video about Roxol insulation, or how to install it. I will link their video down below as well, so check them out. If you're not subscribed to them, please do. Peanut,
I'm telling you, I'm not coming upstairs. It is toasty warm downstairs.
I want to know, have you ever seen it rain? My tape measure. Did I really lose my tape measure? Peanut, is it downstairs?
Don't you accuse me of stealing nothing.
Oh, it is toasty down here, Peanut, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that is like summertime.
So the insulation is made for 16 inches on center. You can get it for 2 foot on center. I have it for 16 inches on center. And since my studs are running 16 inches on center, this stuff is perfect for it. So I don't need to measure in this direction right here because it's already done for me. So I just need this length right here. Well, hold on. Let's check this. This is 14.5, and this insulation is 15 inches. So it's a ½ inch bigger than the space it's fitting. So with that in mind, I'm going to make all my pieces a ½ inch bigger. So this span right here is 26 7/8. I'm going to make it a ½ inch bigger, so 27 3/8. So what I'm going to do is I have some 2x4 insulation. It is 3.5 inches thick. Is it? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to just take my finger and put it at 27 3/8 and butt it right against there. Put a mark here. And I just put a small score in this piece right here. Now this is just a bread knife. You can get one at the dollar store for most likely $1. And I would recommend that. But Roxol does sell a knife that is specifically made for cutting this stuff, but it's the exact same serrations that this knife has. I got that score mark. I'm just gonna follow my little score mark all the way down and cut that piece, and it is a perfect cut. One thing that I love about Roxol insulation is that it is such a smooth cut. You can't get a cut like that with fiberglass insulation. So one major plus. I got a block of wood. This is very key. You'll see in a second. Stay. Stay. Ready? There is no front or back to this stuff, but there is one side that's got more of a grid pattern. I've noticed that this is much harder than this softer looking side, and since I haven't put the vapor barrier on yet, and I won't for a few days, I would rather have this hard side exposed. So just place it in. So you want to bow this stuff and kind of make a U out of it so you get all the way back to that corner. But what I've noticed is that it's kind of difficult to get that to do what you want it to do, especially on a small piece. So I like to use a 2x4 block and push it in, especially those nails that I have coming through that are holding the siding. This also makes sure that I don't end up with like a little corner in the back of the stud in the plywood. I don't make like a U. Now I am set back a little bit, so if I take this block of wood and I push right here and I push in this direction, it'll bring that insulation flush with the stud. And then over time this will end up fluffing out on its own. So you can see up here, I have a plethora of wires running in this direction. So what I did was cut a rip of the insulation and stuck it behind it. And then when I put this piece in, I'm just going to notch that out, this is about 6 inches by half of that 2x6 insulation. And that'll wrap around this, come tight to this, and it'll fill this space completely.
Did you come upstairs, Peanut? Peanut, it is toasty warm downstairs. I know. It's too hot.
Peanut, I'd rather you stay inside.
I don't care what you'd rather. I would rather be outside.
So when I framed my house, I installed this temporary lighting right here and temporary outlet. So I had a single light switch to control these two, can you see it, fluorescent bulbs here. I had one there, and I had another one over there, and a 20 amp outlet. That's not 20 amps though. That's not. But regardless, I have since cut that cable, and this is no longer live. So I don't need this anymore, and I did install this on the inside of the framing, which was smart, I think. I would recommend, if you're going to do this style of build where I'm doing, where you live in it while you build it, which is stupid, I wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you're going to do it, I would recommend installing something like I did right there, because it has made it so much easier to build having an outlet in the house. So I'm just going to pull all these wires. I will be repurposing a lot of this in the barn. Not the wire. The wire's done. I wouldn't recommend reusing any wire anywhere ever. So I picked up a couple bags of these right here. These are multi-cable staples. I did read in the reviews that some counties will not allow these. The building inspector said, no, that is no good. But you know how tiny houses go. They don't really have building inspectors. Generally, you would use something like this. It's a little staple. But I got a few wires that run right there. Just like over here, I had a ton of wires that ran here. You would be amazed what's behind there. If you follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, you've seen pictures of this atrocity that is behind this. But there's a lot of wires, and these red clips are located right here. It's 1, 2, 3. So I just spaced them out about a foot. I don't know what code is. I don't know any codes, but I would assume that's good enough. So to clean this up, I'm just going to throw a couple of these bad boys in. Now I do have staples coming through this wall like you wouldn't believe. Anywhere where I have wires running, I'm just going to bend those staples down. Maybe grab the hammer. I would recommend being careful if you did the cedar shakes like I did, or any type of siding where you have nails coming through. You don't want to force those nails out because it'll push your siding out. But I don't want these staples to rub up against the wires. You know, once I put the insulation in, you won't be able to see this stuff, so you won't know what's happening behind it. Just gotta try to neaten these wires up so everything looks pretty. Looks good to me. So this is 16 inches on center right here, so I don't need to rip a piece, and a full length piece will work fine. But I want to get insulation in behind these wires. So what I'm going to do is show you what I'm going to do. How about that? So I can use a full piece just like this. What I'm just going to do is take about 2 inches off. Doesn't really matter. And then rip this right in half like that. I'll take this piece, just stick it in behind there. This will make your life easier. Trust me. And then I'm just going to take that piece that I ripped off and stick it in the hole. Now right where those clips are, I'm just going to put a small little V in it and take that out. When you're pressing it in, you can definitely hear it punch into those staples that I got. So I like this method. Once I put my vapor barrier and my wallboard on here, this will be fine. I don't know what it would be like with sheetrock, but that's good enough for me, yo. Measure, you should know it already. 27 3/8. I want you to want me. Listen, I can't really show what I'm doing because I don't want to move the damn camera because it's such a pain in the ass. But I got a bunch of wires running along the rafters right here. And I just made this piece that'll fill here. I already have insulation up here. I'm gonna take my cutoff and put it in this next slot right here. My love! Woo! So like all my videos, a few days has passed and I've done the rest of the ceiling. I've just got a few more pieces on this wall. I still got to do about half that other wall and then I'm done insulating. And I've edited most of this video already. So I don't really have much to add except for kind of going over the principles of using Roxul insulation. The main rule is that whenever you measure a piece, just add a 1/4 inch to every dimension. So all the way around needs to be a 1/4 inch bigger. The rip's already set, right? So this is 14.5. Those are already at 15 inches. So I've added a 1/4 on both sides. And then this is 15. So I'm gonna add a 1/4 here, 1/4 there, 15.5 inches. Boom, boom, boom. And then cutting the stuff, you don't really need to be too accurate. You can use a framing square. I misplaced mine, so I'm not going to. 15 inches. I got a good eye, so I'll just do it by eye. Now I realize there's different ways of cutting this. You can just take your knife and keep scoring it, and you're just gonna keep going a little deeper and deeper and deeper. But what I realize is that it won't cut that last little bit. It'll end up tearing it, so you can just cut it. Again, doesn't matter which side's what. Manufacturer says to bow it like this and put it in. Definitely like this block method of pushing it in into those nails, and then also if I pull out, it's going to do that like I've showed you already, but we're just going over it again, eh? Semi-flush, good enough. So I'm just going to finish up these last few pieces and then I'm going to put the vapor barrier on. So when you're figuring how much insulation you need to get, I would recommend getting 15 to 20% more than what your total square footage is. Just measure your stuff, times it by timesing it, and figure your square footage on every wall, ceiling, floor. Add your percentage to it and you should be good to go. You could be more efficient and maybe go down to the 10 to 15%. I could have used all these little pieces and paired them up together and filled up a space, but I had extra. I have a ton of extra, so all this stuff, all the extra is going to be used on Tiny House Terry, and I'll definitely be saving all those little scrap pieces to shove into little holes and stuff. So I guess that's it. I will see you on the next video, I guess. I think so.